Demonstrations had been going on right outside the federal detention center. Most of those demonstrators were very peaceful. They were chanting, they were shouting.
It's important to remember that these people are completely justified for protesting, okay?
I don't even know where to begin. Something about these LA riots do not sit right with me.
The reason that people are protesting in Los Angeles is because the only choice they have besides protesting is to watch their entire neighborhood get black-bagged and thrown into a car and then shipped down to South America.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about the protesters happening in LA right now. I think this is one of the most horrifying things I've seen happen in America. I've been here for about 11 years, and since the George Floyd thing, I haven't seen a protest that have looked this bad. There's a lot of talks about which side is right and which side is wrong when it comes to this entire thing. But what I want to do with this conversation that we're about to have is to understand both sides and try to come to a very reasonable conclusion to this. Now, first of all, my name is Dixon Zor. I'm a guy that talks about things that I care about, and I will talk about this one. Welcome to the channel. Now, you already know what's happening. You've seen the intro. You know that this event is very rowdy. There's a lot of people going out on the streets, literally burning cars. We've seen people standing on top of cars with a Mexican flag. We have Elon Musk tweeting about this. We have the Department of Homeland Security actually talking about this. And for a lot of Americans that are seeing that, can easily look at it and say, oh, these people that we welcome into our country are behaving like this. This is unacceptable. We can't take that. Why the hell would you do that? This is ungrateful. Now, that is the narrative, and this behavior has been pushed to the mainstream media, where we now have streamers going out of the way to basically shit on the entire Mexican community.
Go back to Mexico. Go back to Tijuana.
We have guys like Hassan walking through the streets, showing the protests, showing the plight of the protesters, and also showing some of the bad ones. There's a lot of gray areas to go through and really understand what's happening, because if you rely on the media, they're only gonna share you their biases. So I first want to take a look at the side of the right, the MAGA. What do they think about everything that's going on right now?
I don't even know where to begin. Before I get started, I'm giving everybody a fair warning right now. If you have sensitive ears, watch another video, because I am not about to watch my language. I am not about to hold back at all. I'm going to say what is exactly on my mind, okay? If you are waving a foreign flag in this country, if you are waving a foreign flag in America while burning down the city, rioting, causing chaos, screaming at federal agents, screaming at law enforcement, get the fuck out of this country and go back to the country that you love so damn dearly.
Now, who is going to argue with that take? Who is going to argue with the fact that if a person protests in your country about being in your country with a flag of their country, you know, who will protest that behavior is unacceptable? You know, I can't protest that. I can sit here and naturally disagree with what this guy is saying, because that will be dishonest. We don't want people in this country who go around and do things like that. And think about it from the undocumented immigrants' perspective. What does this act really accomplish for them? This only serves to show the world that they are an issue in a way. If you are undecided on this topic and see what is going on right now, it's very easy to go against the undocumented immigrants because of this behavior. And this was exactly what this guy in the MAGA hat wanted. He wanted people like this to show up and take over the media. He wanted these kind of behaviors so his hate of these people can come through. And that's exactly what they showed. We have people on the side of the undocumented immigrants, people with Mexican heritage, actually speaking out against this. It's not wrong to speak out against that behavior.
So let me get this straight, just so I could clarify it. You don't want to go back to Mexico. You're protesting to stay. away from Mexico. But you're waving the Mexican flag and you're waving it with pride. You're waving it in the United States, the country you're trying to stay in, the country you don't want to leave, but yet you're waving the Mexican flag with pride.
You see how that don't make any sense? Even people with Mexican heritage can come out here and say it for what it is. So this is not me attacking anyone. This is just me saying the facts for what it is. That was disturbing. As someone who's grateful for the United States for giving me the opportunity to immigrate here and give me a lot of successes, I do not want to see people do that to the country. They were going around burning the United States flag. What message do you guys want to send? What message do these protesters want to send if they're doing that? And what I'm not going to do in this video is try to brand every protester out there as the bad guy just because of these bad apples, okay? Because there's something going on right now that I don't understand, and I'm not the only one that's talking about it. Some people are coming out actually saying that these violent protests were actually staged for a higher agenda, because this honestly led to Trump increasing the amount of National Guard to go and control these people. All of these is serving the purpose of the mega crowd or the Trump crowd. And I'm not trying to separate people with politics. This is playing more so to the people on the right side than the people on the left side.
You had people throwing rocks, bricks, waving flags. You had some people in ski masks, you don't even know if they were really there for the protest or was they just trying to entice some shit. Whatever the case may be, it caused Donald Trump to bring in 2,000 troops.
That's why I'm saying, guys, this is the small minority that really take the entire premise of a protest. A lot of people who are protesting this entire issue are like this. All power to the people. No human is illegal. This is what these people are protesting. They aren't going out there to burn cars. Their purpose weren't to go out there and cause violence or wave the Mexican flag and burn down the American flag. These are the small minority, and those are the people taking over the media. But we don't want to hear that, and the people on the other side of this don't want to hear that either. And this is the problem with this side politics, this dual party politics, where everybody is looking for a slight crank in the armor of the other side in order to let their weird problems and petty angst with the other side come out. It's so dumb, man.
Get the fuck out of here, bye. Go back to the country that you love so much. Because if you hate America, because evidently you hate this country, to be sitting here, to be running around waving a foreign flag while burning down police cars, while looting, rioting, screaming your love for another country while in America, go back home. Take your asses back home. We don't even want you here at all. And I hope President Donald Trump deport every single last one of y'all. Every single last one of y'all.
I think every American is kind of feeling what he's feeling right now. It's not a MAGA thing. I think this is more so an American pride thing. And this is what can bring a lot of people together to really hate on a certain group of people. This is the last thing that Hispanics wanted. This is the last thing that undocumented people wanted to be on their resume, on their record, because now it changes the public perception. I think I saw some Hispanic people actually helping some of the National Guards and people who were hurt during this entire situation. So all of that shows that this is not what the majority of people want. The majority of people just want rights, and they want to be treated fairly when it comes to the deportation process. They don't want to be thrown to some weird country. They don't want to go to some gulag, right? They actually want to be taken care of, and they want their stories to be heard. They want due justice to be done. It's illegal to come here illegally, so they're going to have to go through the court systems and be treated the right way to be thrown out. You know, I think there is a system, and the way Trump is going about it is causing some tension.
I'm in LA. Behind me are people protesting Trump's ICE raids on humans who are here illegally. And you know what? As someone who believes that we should deport all undocumented immigrants, I partially agree with them. On Friday, ICE agents raided Home Depot parking lots, clothing warehouses, and even a donut shop, and arrested people suspected of being here illegally. Some of them had criminal records, some were in the country illegally and had no additional crimes. In total, about 118 people were arrested. In response, locals started to protest. Most were peaceful. and some got violent, burning cars, attacking ICE agents, and waving Mexican flags while doing so. In response, Trump declared that Newsom wasn't doing enough to quell the violence and deployed 2,000 National Guard to California.
So that is basically the rundown of everything, and it just kind of stands out to me that these people are going into stores in the Home Depot and getting these illegal immigrants or these undocumented immigrants. It's crazy. Like, imagine sitting there, like you're just going to your regular Home Depot trip, and you just see people like getting picked up and thrown in cars and just taken away, right? These people probably have families. I'm not saying it's cool to come here illegally, but if you come here illegally, I hope there will be a more humane way to deal with this. I honestly don't know the way I could propose to deal with this, but I just think like going to people at Home Depot, grabbing them, just taking them out of there would cause some tension. And if it's already around a time where there's a lot of tension in the country, I think it would be best served to not go about things like that. That would cause a lot more problems than it will solve.
As I said, I think we should deport people who are here illegally, but we can also do that humanely. Because what we do matters, but how we do it matters too. Look at how much chaos this has caused. Thousands of troops, tens of thousands protesting, millions spent, all to deport 118 people. There are 10 to 20 million people in the country illegally. Trump's approach doesn't even scale to 1 million, let alone tens of millions. The DHS reported it cost $17,000 to deport a single immigrant. Look, we're not all going to agree on immigration policy, but hopefully we can all agree this approach is serving no one. So what's the solution? Change the incentives instead of forcing the issue. Force should be a last resort. First, just enforce existing law. Penalize corporations for illegal labor practices. Second, give people money to leave voluntarily. Trump offered $1,000 for voluntary return. But if forced deportation costs $17,000, we can clearly afford more.
Okay, I clearly disagree with that statement 100%. Okay, what I like here is looking at these corporations that are using illegal labor. That definitely encourages the problem. But we shouldn't be paying people for breaking the law. That would not help anyone at all, bro. How does it look like from the perspective of someone who is undocumented? If you're here undocumentedly, you probably have a system of coming here undocumentedly. You could make unlimited money if you are getting paid to break the law. That is completely stupid. Like, I'm an immigrant myself. The United States can't really take care of their immigrants, especially if they do it legally. Now, we help the illegal undocumented ones, but we're not going to pay them. We're not going to have taxpayer money spent on paying them, even though you can say it costs more to get rid of the undocumented immigrants, but that is a different action being served. That is also showing an example that in and of itself, that $17,000 is probably going to stop more people from coming. Instead of paying, say, $5,000, that's going to encourage more people to come because there's a financial benefit for being undocumented in the United States. I don't want that.
Third, expand our immigration courts so that illegal immigrants get their due process in a matter of days, not years. Fourth, tone down the emotional rhetoric. I don't approve of Newsom or Bass, but the name calling isn't helpful. It helps stoke Trump's base, but it won't unite the country. Yes, he should absolutely take a hard line against violent protesters, and he can do that without alienating half the country. Now to that half of the country, you say that we shouldn't deport at all, and instead we should offer amnesty. You say that these people are contributing to the economy, hardworking, and nonviolent. And you're largely right, but the process matters. How you enter matters. Because if we don't uphold the law, we lose what makes America more desirable than where they're coming from in the first place.
It's perfectly said. And guys, to really get what this means for the country, let's take a step back and look at where we are right now. Okay, we're in a country that wants to keep its border secure. That inherently is not a problem. People who enter a country illegally are breaking that country's law, and it's not wrong for a country to have an agency like ICE in place to deal with such issues. Now, could the president of the country at this time calm tensions by controlling the rhetoric used when addressing this issue? 100%. But we gotta realize that these people, though their situations are unfair and it does suck to be in their shoes, you have to abide by the laws to come here. Now, I would like to share a story about the fact that I am from Liberia and I didn't have the luxury to just walk across the border to come to the United States. I had to work for it. I had to play a diversity visa game and actually had to win the visa against everybody in Africa to just have the chance to come here. It's actually very difficult to come to the United States legally. So that's why when I look at the US-Mexico border, right, it kind of puts the Mexican people in a very unique situation where they can just come into the land of the free, into the best country in the world very easily. I think that comes with a lot of privilege, but it should also come with a lot of responsibility, because not everybody in the world have that luxury. There's a lot of other countries, even in Africa, that are struggling more so than people in Mexico, and that's not to diminish their struggle, but that's also a factor to take in play. Just because you're closer to the United States, it doesn't mean that the United States should be more lenient on you and their immigration policy on you. Like, it shouldn't be different going from Mexico to the United States than from Liberia to the United States. Everybody have to work to come to this country, so you have to too. You have to put in that effort. You have to come here the right way. And I think open borders is what a lot of Americans want. Even Mexicans don't want open borders for their country, and even ones here don't want open borders here. That's not what a country is. Hey guys, hopefully the LA thing is like it get resolved soon, but thank you for watching. Peace out. Bye bye.